commitment to AFR 100. The Landcare approach is growing around the world, and Landcare International, the organization steering group that I chair, has been working hard to develop programs in countries on every continent in every region. Currently, we have quite a number of countries in Eastern Africa and in Southern Africa that have, in fact, developed Landcare programs, and we're constantly working to support the development of their capacity to grow and to have more and more impact under their domestic situation. Of course, Australia was the first and foremost country to develop Landcare, followed very quickly by South Africa, the Philippines, and other countries in Africa as well. We now have the development of a Landcare network in Europe that is going to be supported by the European Commission, if all goes well. And we have a vibrant Landcare program occurring in North America in addition to that. One of the key support mechanisms for international Landcare has been the Landcare International, which I chair, and Australian Landcare International, which is a domestic attempt to mobilize partnering between Landcare groups and organizations within Australia to support Landcare in other countries. The second thing that I'd like to propose for consideration at this conference is that South Africa consider developing its own South African Landcare International group that can formally support particularly the development of Landcare programs in the Southern Africa region and Africa as a whole. South Africa has already been supporting the African Landcare Network, which is hosted here in Nairobi by the World Agroforestry Center. But it does occur to me that an organization analogous to Australian Landcare International could be vibrantly able to support on a more broad-based front the Landcare developments in the African region in coordination with African Landcare Network. Throughout Landcare's approach and its global scope, there is a set of common values, values that you, of course, are very familiar with, and values that we attempt to espouse as each Landcare program gets off the ground. Values that include a focus on partnerships, a focus on voluntary participation, grassroots organizations, but flexible and adaptable to local circumstances, and of course inclusiveness and apolitical organizations. These are the things that drive Landcare across the world, and they have been a major aspect of South Africa's approach to Landcare domestically. Well, how is Landcare happening in Africa? Are there examples, are there successes where Landcare approaches have really made a difference? Well, the good news is, in fact, that there are now many examples at a very large scale of application of the Landcare values and approaches. And I would point out one that is particularly cogent for Drylands in Africa, and that is the experience of the poorest country in the world, Niger, where back in the 1970s and 1980s there was such a catastrophic series of droughts that livestock was decimated, crops were destroyed, and the entire landscape in the Sahel was basically stripped of trees. What has happened? Well, over the past 30 years, through the efforts at the grassroots of over 1.2 million households using their own efforts, they have been able to develop a restoration of these environments that is absolutely incredible. In fact, we have now mapped in one area alone of Niger, the Maradi and Zinder regions, an extent of